What's the chances of you, Cam, and Mase getting back?
I don't think it's really gonna happen. We two different type of people. Always have. Competitive nature always been first before friendship. Remember, Camron, man, it's not.
So it's not you.
I took the position of my position.
You were fanned out and you begged to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in. You was so cool. And we was like, yo, Jomo's a nice guy. Mase like, yo, I think I'll teach him how to rap. Mase actually taught you how to rap. Literally. He taught you how to rap.
Mase need to go on a diet. He need to get his life together. He need to go to the doctor and get a physical. He looked terrible, bad body, back.
And you're a guardian angel and designer. What you talking about, man? You are from the Bronx, bro. You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro?
They say every empire has its secrets, but what if the truth about Jim Jones isn't just hidden? It's manufactured. What if the man who's been shouting that he built Mase and Camron's empire was really just a tag-along fan begging for a seat at their table? Imagine discovering the so-called capo of Dipset wasn't a boss, but a background player who learned the game from the very people he now claims to have taught.
Mase taught me how to rap, and Cam always made sure I was on every single album he had. He was like, boy, once you figure out how to rap the same way you act in these streets, it's going to work for you. Just keep going. And that's all so I always got to give credit to where credit is due. There would be no Jim Jones if it wasn't for them guys.
Back when Dipset ruled Harlem, when diplomatic immunity had the streets shaking and the culture in a chokehold, everyone thought Jim was one of the masterminds. But here's the twist. The real builders were already stars before he even showed up.
I never needed nowhere to stay. You act like your couch. You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan. You're not from none of that. So you can sit around and act like you've been around all this Harlem shit. You ever see somebody from Harlem try to act like they from Harlem so bad that you got to keep saying, I'm from Harlem? Harlem know who's from Harlem. You don't have to keep saying you from Harlem.
Word in Harlem circles is that Jim used timing, loyalty, and a lot of talk to slide his way into the spotlight, then slowly started rewriting history to make himself look like the one pulling the strings. Now the mask is cracking wide open. Jim's been working overtime to stay relevant, interviews, podcasts, features, anything to keep his name buzzing.
What's the chances of you, Cam, and Mase getting back?
I don't think it's really gonna happen. We two different type of people. Always have. Competitive nature always been first before friendship. Remember, Camron, man, it's not.
So it's not you.
I took the position of my position. Cam is my partner. I'm not his artist. I was the CEO of Diplomats. I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down. I'm not his soldier. You heard? I'm his partner. But in the journey that we had to take, I had to do what was needed. Why I play my position. And that's why I'm able to be here and have a conversation with you, because I did what I was supposed to do.
But the ones who actually put him on are tired of the lies. They're ready to air out the receipts, and it's about to get ugly. You can't fake history forever, especially not in Harlem where respect is currency and fake stories get you checked fast. For 2 decades, Jim's been breaking every unspoken rule, taking credit for moves he didn't make, twisting stories about who started what, and playing boss while the real architects watched quietly. But now, those architects are speaking up, and when the truth hits, it's gonna shake the whole Dipset legacy. And the wildest part? Jim really said he was CEO of the Diplomats, claiming he held down Mase and Camron like they were his artists. That's not confidence. That's delusion.
We're fanned out and you begged to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you was so cool. And we was like, yo, Jomo's a nice guy. Mase like, yo, I think I'll teach him how to rap. Mase actually taught you how to rap. Literally. He taught you how to rap. Matter of fact, bring up the clip.
Mase helped me learn how to rap. Mase taught me how to rap. Mase actually showed me, he was the first person to show me how to rap.
Mase actually sat me down and showed me the magic to rap.
We taught you how to rap. How you ran the whole organization. How you made Diplomat. We ain't make none of this stuff. You was a fan. I put you down because you had a free crib and you was a nice guy. That's how you got down originally. Period.
In Harlem, Calling yourself the boss of something you didn't build isn't just a lie, it's disrespect, the kind that gets people checked in real life. That's what happens when somebody keeps repeating the same lie until they start believing it themselves. But here's the thing about building a legacy off borrowed shine. Sooner or later, the real owners show up to reclaim what's theirs. And when they do, that fake empire starts to crumble fast. Camron didn't just clap back, he went straight for the jugular. "You were our fan," he said with the kind of calm that hits harder than any diss track. Boom, 4 words that froze Harlem solid. In that one line, Cam ripped through 20 years of Jim Jones's myth-making and left his whole story exposed. That wasn't just shade, that was an execution in broad daylight.
Styles come out. Yo, I heard the new did. I heard the new did. Yo, you want to come through? Come through. Why? Why are we going to Jomo's house? Cool. One day, I'm leaving Mase's house on the west side, going back to the east side. I stop at Jomo's house. His grandmother died, God bless her dad. And he had a free crib. So yeah, I would bring some a little crack maybe. I'd be at everybody's house though. I love my grandparents. My grandparents were strict. I stayed at Duke the God house. I stayed at Mase with Kuda. I stayed at her. I stayed a bunch of. I never needed nowhere to stay.
This ain't about petty egos or hurt pride. This is the cold truth about the difference between creators and clingers, between the ones who build movements and the ones who ride waves. And Camron made it crystal clear which side Jim really stands on, and it's not the one with the blueprints. Now here's where it gets deep. Cam didn't just call Jim out, he broke down the psychology behind it all. People who've never built anything real always crave validation. They attach themselves to those shining brighter, not out of loyalty but out of fear. Fear of being seen for what they are, empty. Jim's been trying to mask that emptiness for years with flashy chains, loud talk, and borrowed street stories. But when the truth finally catches up, the mask slips, and all that's left is panic. Instead of owning up, he doubles down, spinning old lies and hoping no one dares to call him out. Well, guess what? That day's over. And then came the final dagger. "He taught you how to rap!" The streets went silent. That one line shattered the illusion completely. Jim didn't co-found Dipset. He didn't discover Cam or Mase. He was just that eager kid hanging around, begging to be part of the circle once the mixtapes started blowing up. The truth's out now, and Harlem's watching every second of this downfall unfold. This new revelation doesn't just expose Jim Jones, it rewrites his entire legacy. Every song, every interview, every boss moment now looks completely different under this light. Turns out, the man we thought was self-made was really just a fan with perfect timing, riding the wave of 2 Harlem icons on their way up. And the craziest part, he built a whole career off that one desperate move. See, in Harlem and anywhere with real street code, begging is the ultimate violation. Real players don't beg for a seat at the table, they build their own. Real bosses don't cling to power, they create it.
It was a concert. He was on stage, Fresh was on stage. I ended up doing some bottles, trying to hit French. That moment, I know you probably wanted to kill me when the bottles started hitting there.
I mean, nobody, all this shit, they dissing me, cap, and suck my dick, and that's all in the internet. No one has ever dissed me publicly in front of anybody, but I had a special heart for you too. We go back from the day one from, when you hanging out with Pun and all that. Oh, I was furious. You know that, Jim.
But I want to show, so I did this and I know Joe was furious. So somebody calls my phone like, Joe want to speak to you. You need to have a meeting with you. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And say you want to do it at Koch. I'm like, you want to do it at Koch? All right, cool. So this game is about chess. So I pull my big one. I call somebody that knows Joe very well. And if you know how the streets go, if you walk in a place with the right person, everything is out the window. It's all and I walked in.
So what'd he say when you called him, that guy?
But Jim, he just got exposed as neither. And now everyone's asking the same brutal question: how long can someone survive living off someone else's foundation before the real architects tear it all down? Because in the streets, respect is currency, and Jim Jones just went broke overnight. Once the people who built your name decide to unmake you, there's no coming back. That kind of exposure doesn't just bruise your egos, it kills your credibility completely. But what makes this takedown even more explosive is the proof. Jim's been spinning the same fairy tales for so long, he forgot the internet never forgets. There are clips, interviews, and old footage where he completely contradicts himself, bragging about being a student, then years later claiming to be the CEO. His own mouth became the weapon that's ending him. You know what separates a real legend from a fraud? Consistency. The real ones tell the same story every time because they lived it. The fakes, they change the script depending on who's watching, and eventually those cracks show. Jim's been revising his history for 2 decades, but digital footprints don't lie. Now Camron's ready to hit him where it hurts, with receipts. He's not just talking slick, he's dropping evidence like a prosecutor with an airtight case. When someone in Harlem says, "I got proof," you know it's about to be bad. And what Cam's about to unleash might not just ruin Jim's story, it could erase his entire reputation from hip-hop history. Listen to how steady Cam's voice is. That's not confidence, that's certainty. Because when you've got proof sitting right in your pocket, you don't need to shout, you just hit play and let the truth do the talking. And what comes next? It's pure devastation for Jim Jones. Let it sink in. The same man who's been walking around for years bragging that he was the CEO, the muscle, the mastermind, just got caught on camera saying that Mase taught him how to rap. Not the other way around. That's not just a slip-up. That's a confession that wipes out everything he's been building for 20 years. Jim didn't make Mase made Jim. That one clip flipped the whole script. It's no longer a debate. His own words just proved Cam and Mase were right all along. And when your downfall comes from your own mouth, that's not bad luck. That's street justice served cold. But it doesn't stop there. Jim hasn't just been twisting stories about Dipset. He's been rewriting friendships too. He claimed Cam was some broke artist crashing at his spot, but those who were around know the truth was completely different.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was, man, like on the side, like in the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when balling took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mase be that, and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew I just took the shot murder to see, because I wasn't sure he was gonna go for it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. You gotta watch and see how he responds. When you see, you're like, oh shit, he really like that. Give me this, give me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want you at the show, Jimmy. Yeah, but that was one of those things I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was gonna ever happen again at that point. And then he's going, for them, they had records.
That's the thing about chronic storytellers. Once they get a taste of fame, they start rewriting every chapter of their past to make themselves the hero, the boss, the savior, the one who put everyone on. But when you lie about moments other people actually lived through, you hand them the weapon that'll destroy you. And right now, Cam and Mase are using Jim's own contradictions like ammunition. The internet's eating it up, replaying that clip on loop, and the streets are laughing because the mask has officially slipped. The best part? Jim can't even fight back. How do you argue against your own voice on camera? How do you claim you built legends when you literally admitted they built you? It's checkmate. But here's where things take a wild turn, because while Jim's digging his own grave with contradictions, the real witnesses who saw Dipset rise from the ground up are stepping forward.
When I met Cam and Jim, they were super close. So I honestly don't really know Jim being from the Bronx and all that. You know what I'm saying? When I met them, they was in 5H, which is, you know what I'm saying, Jim's apartment, and that's, you know, like, I guess that time was after all the stuff Cam had said already with the Children of the Corn and Jim, you know, whatever he said, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when I got there, Cam and Jim was like this, super tight. Mase wasn't even in the picture. I don't know Mase like that, you know what I'm saying? Every time I seen Mase, it's been a mutual, you know what I'm saying, respect there. So, you know, that's what that's been as far as me and Mase, you know what I'm saying? As far as, yeah, when I met Cam and Jim, they were already Trump tight and locked in. You understand what I'm saying? The Diplomats was already a name they had. You know what I'm saying? I don't sit there and claim I made the Dip, so that's not something I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I made Dipset though, the two. Yeah, I did that.
And what they're about to expose next will shake Harlem's hip-hop history to its core. Everything we thought we knew about Dipset's inner circle is getting flipped on its head, because once the smoke clears and the lies lose their power, the truth always comes from the people who were actually in the room when it all went down, and now those voices are finally speaking up. When Juelz Santana spoke out, he didn't come with anger or shade. His tone was calm, grounded, almost nostalgic. That's how you know it's real. Real players don't need to shout to prove a point. They just drop facts and let the truth echo. Santana said things were cool between everyone in the early days, setting the scene before things spiraled. He's painting the timeline, the calm before the chaos. But then Choke No Joke stepped in, and that's when the story got messy.
And I know because I seen it. I was there. I was at Jim album release party, and everybody was over there with Jim, and Cam is standing over here with like 3 or 4 people just looking on and couldn't believe that Jim is the guy. And that always stood with me.
His words didn't just confirm one side, they complicated everything. Because according to him, Jim did have some real authority behind the scenes. People actually worked under him. So this isn't about a man who was a total fraud. It's about someone who had a little power and got drunk off it. Jim wasn't powerless, but he wasn't the boss he's been pretending to be either. He was middle management, a soldier trying to rewrite himself as the general. That's the real issue here. He had influence, but not ownership. He was part of the structure, not the architect. And then came the line that split the internet in two. Choke No Joke said there would be no Dipset without Jim.
There's no Dipset without Jim. Jim is the gangbanger of the crew. Cam is not a blood. I don't even know if Joel's was. I doubt Freaky was, right? But the set, it comes from the gang, right? All the gang all ran under Jim.
Right.
All the muscle was Jim. That wasn't Cam. You know what I'm saying?
Cam was like the Jay-Z.
Cam was the artist.
The Jay-Z, the mascot of it. If this is Rockefeller.
Right.
And then Jim was Kareem. Biggs.
No, because Jim did more than what Biggs did. I wouldn't use the Rockefeller scenario. That's not a good thing. Jim and Cam were partners, so to speak. But Jim took the role of being the underboss, the muscle, to make sure that Cam could function and move around and not have a bad reputation or be getting robbed and all this other stuff. So Jim put his...
Instantly, the comment sections blew up. But before Jim's defenders start celebrating, let's be real about what that means. Being the muscle doesn't make you the mastermind. Yeah, Jim might have been the protector, the enforcer, the energy that kept things tight. But that's not the same as being the creator or the visionary. There's a big difference between being indispensable and being in charge. One moves with orders, the other gives them. What we're seeing now is the birth of two camps, those loyal to the founders who built the brand from scratch and those who believe the enforcer held it all together. The tension is rising and the streets are picking sides because the next revelation might just decide who really ran Dipset from the start. See, Santana and Choke No Joke aren't riding for Jim out of blindness or delusion. They're standing up for him because they actually saw what he did behind the scenes. They were there when he was making calls, moving the crew, and putting in work that Cam and Mase now act like never happened. But here's where it gets wild. This isn't just a fight about credit, it's straight up psychological warfare. Both sides are twisting the truth just enough to fit their version of the story. Cam and Mate are downplaying Jim's real contributions to prove he's been exaggerating, while Jim's camp is pushing his importance to fight off that just a fan label. The truth? It's sitting somewhere dead in the middle. But in the world of street politics, perception is power. And right now, Jim's losing that battle.
Edge that became between Cam and Jim is Jim's success. When Jim started becoming successful as an artist, the animosity started building up in Cam.
And it wasn't supposed to go like that according to Cam's story.
No. Cam always looked at him as being the star, Jim being capo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's kind of like Sammy the Bull becoming John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Gotti's probably gonna feel a little way if Sammy becomes the main man. You know what I'm saying? And in that situation, that's what it is. Jim started to grow as an artist. And as he started to grow as an artist, he started moving from standing behind Cam to he started standing next to Cam. And then it got to a point where he stood in front of Cam. Mm-hmm. And Cam was looking him over his shoulder like, what you doing? And then that built the animosity. And by the time Ballin hit, Cam had a gang of animosity and internal hatred. And I know because I seen it, I was there. I was at Jim album release party.
See, that's the thing about street loyalty. Like, it's strong when everyone's hungry and hustling together, but the second one person starts shining a little brighter, the jealousy, ego, and hidden resentment start creeping out. And what's about to come out next? It might flip everything we thought we knew about who was really jealous in this situation, because out of nowhere, Choke No Joke threw a grenade into the narrative, claiming Camron was the one who couldn't handle Jim's success. That's a bold move. But before anyone crowns that statement as fact, let's look at the bigger picture. Choke's not exactly neutral here. His history with Cam runs deep. Word is, they nearly came to blows years ago after Choke publicly praised one of Jim's mixtapes. Yeah, just giving Jim credit almost got him into a fight with Cam. That kind of tension doesn't just vanish. So when Choke rides for Jim now, it's not just loyalty, it's spite. He's not defending Jim because he thinks he's innocent. He's doing it because it gets under Cam's skin.
And not in a disrespectful way, but he was under the wing. Jim was the muscle. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And Jewels was under that wing too, of the muscle. You get what I mean? So with Jim, he's Cam's partner.
Copy.
But he's taking a step back to play the muscle.
Right.
Jewels was a worker.
Right.
A hiree, a little man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between Jewels and Jim. You know what I'm saying? If it was beef, Jewel ain't gonna be front line. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get through Jim, then Dipset to get to Cam, and then probably to get to Jewels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Jewels ain't standing in front of Jim, and Jewels ain't standing in front of Cam.
And that's what makes this beef so layered. It's not just history, it's personal. And right as these interviews started heating up, look what popped up. Jim Jones dropped his new album, The Church Steps, in February 2025. Perfect timing, right? These interviews, these defenses, this sudden wave of conversation, it all feels like a well-timed publicity storm. The streets are catching on and people are starting to wonder, wait, is this war about truth or about promotion? And just like that, the internet's buzzing again with old Dipset drama. Coincidence? Please. Every time Jim Jones's career starts losing steam, suddenly the past comes roaring back. Because when the buzz fades, nothing pulls attention faster than reviving old beef. And who better to help fan the flames than Choke No Joke, a man who's got his own score to settle and zero hesitation about getting messy. While everyone's distracted, Joel Santana drops his side of the 50 Cent situation, and that's when things get real. He explains how Jim crossed the line that no street code could forgive.
The day, Jim just was smart enough to do it quicker. You know, they say time heals all wounds, so people usually let years and years and years go by. Jim, you know what I mean? He saw his moment. He saw his moment, and he saw that 50 had a platform at the time that was, you know, bigger than ours. It was bigger than ours. So to perform a song which was the biggest song out right now in front of a crowd that we are not normally in front of, you understand what I'm saying? I don't think it was the worst thing. Like Jim knew that it wasn't no bloodshed, you know what I'm saying? And Jim was smart enough to know, I think, all right, this is not even that serious. Like we at the time I knew people in Queens, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like the Cam, and you see, look at him and Cam right now, they're on the platform. So obviously the beef wasn't that serious. You understand what I'm saying? They just waited longer to settle their differences.
See, when your crew's at war, loyalty comes first, business second. But Jim, he broke that rule wide open when he hit the stage with the enemy just to get his own shine. That wasn't a smart business move. That was betrayal born from jealousy. Jim couldn't take being in Cam's shadow anymore, so he made a power move that cost him his family. That's not what a confident boss does. That's what a man drowning in insecurity does. He wanted the spotlight so bad he torched the bridge that made him relevant in the first place. And the craziest part? 2 decades later, he's still obsessed with rewriting that same story, pulling in anyone with a grudge to back him up. Even Freaky Zeke, who's been trying hard to stay neutral, admitted the truth. The beef wasn't even that serious at first. But once outsiders started poking at old wounds and hyping up the drama, everything spun out of control. Suddenly, what was once just tension between brothers turned into a public war, all because the wrong people kept whispering in the right ears. And if you really think about it, who benefits the most from keeping those scars open? The man whose relevance depends on the chaos. The one who needs people talking about his name because his music isn't doing the job anymore.
Why is it cool to see Cam and 50 now, but it wasn't cool to see Jim and 50 then? You understand what I'm saying? That Jim and Cam is beefing now, right? So y'all say, okay, so why is 50 on? You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing. It's just people like to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? People got their favorites even in the groups, man. It's always been like that. So now when the group clash, it's like, you know, people want to take, I think the bull. If y'all really want to see Cam move as a unit, don't be taking this. Even if you like Cam more than you like Jim more than you like Cam. You know what I'm saying? It's Dipset. You know what I'm saying? So you know when you see them going at it, you know what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, you know, that the egg on like that, like I'm definitely not gonna be the one to egg.
When a person gets exposed and runs out of lies, they don't seek peace. They seek distraction. That's when they start threatening, name dropping, and twisting stories just to stay in the headlines. And right now, Jim Jones is about to show the world just how desperate a man can get when his back's against the wall and his credibility's collapsing. The mask's slipping, and this next move, it's gonna expose everything. Listen closely. Camron didn't just clap back, he dismantled Jim Jones piece by piece. This wasn't some petty back and forth or ego battle anymore. This was a public exposure of character. Cam wasn't trying to humiliate Jim. He was revealing the truth about who Jim's always been behind the scenes. A man with no code, no standards, and no loyalty beyond his obsession with staying relevant.
People, it don't even be the actual people. Like if me and you was beefing, and you said, I don't know, Zeke got a peanut head paws, and I said you got 11 toes, or whatever the case may be. That be that. But it be everybody else on the side, your group of niggas. Be like, yeah, man, these peanut gallery, they gonna make up all this shit. Make sure to turn the peanuts into peanut butter, then whip it into something else to make it all a whole bunch of different shit. Then my talk about your feet and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, just to, like, that's everybody who's from Harlem got some family in the Bronx. Everybody who got family in the Bronx got family in Harlem. Yeah, Jim is from the Bronx and he came to Harlem. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, you got to understand the war. Like, it's like battling. It's like rap. Like motherfucker.
That's what makes this so brutal. Because Jim built his whole persona on being that muscle, that tough guy who kept everyone in check. For years, he flexed like he was the enforcer, the street-certified protector of Dipset. But now, that image has been shredded by a single story, one that Cam says he's got witnesses ready to back up. All that talk about being the boss, the muscle, the man who held it down, gone in a heartbeat. And the craziest part, Cam doesn't even sound angry anymore. He sounds tired. He's not yelling or cursing Jim out. He's just brushing him off like an annoying rumor.
Where every is on you. But I see the pattern now. If I either disagree with you and don't want to take it that route because they got some genuine love for you, you keep going on and on and on. And they put hands on you and you get told, you cool with them. I see you with C Gutter. Junior Mafia, cool. I see you taking pictures with True Life. It's cool. Me and DC, y'all having sit-downs to work out. Gunshots was let off with that. Y'all having sit-downs to work it out. You tried to chase French Montana out the game. That ain't work out. Y'all got cool. So cool that you go to his video shoot. Pardon me, not his video movie. You're sitting in the crowd watching the premiere and they dissing you in the movie. You in the movie getting dissing. You gotta eat it. You're just sitting in the crowd. Nah, dissing you in the movie that you went to go see, bro. You ever wonder how you met Mano? Ask him how he met Mano. Mano gonna downplay because they cool now. He tried to press Mano one day because Mano first came out. He had a little record where he was saying, dissing the rappers. I don't know, he's dissing his name.
That's the ultimate disrespect. When someone who used to see you as competition now sees you as irrelevant. Cam's basically saying, I've outgrown this. And in street culture, that's the deepest cut of all, being labeled not worth the energy. But instead of owning up, what does Jim do? He starts throwing threats. When you've got no receipts, no credibility, and no defense, intimidation becomes your only weapon.
So Jim plus see Mano one day and was like, yo, what's up with all that saying my name? Man, say, who the talking to? Oh, you think I one of them niggas? You out your mother? Now they the lobby boys. Every that do something to put pressure on you, you sit there and work it out. But when niggas got a little genuine heart for you and all that, cool, that's the pattern. If they don't put hands on you, then you can keep going on and on and on. And I ain't promoting none of this. I think it's cool that you cool with everybody I name. You gonna be 50 next year. I'm happy that you cool. I'm not saying this to stir up no feathers. I'm not saying that to backtrack or any beef or go anything like. I think it's really cool. But you do this, you cool with, and then in the end, sophisticatedly, you keep going on and on. Bro.
Jim's trying to scare people by promising to expose Cam and Mase's secrets, but notice what he doesn't do. He never denies a single thing they accused him of. Silence on the facts, loud on the bluff, classic desperation move. And when the threats flop,
Michael, the revolution was televised. I'm here. That's why I gotta work like that. That's why I'm here. The revolution was televised. What you talking about? And I'll wrap it up real quick with this. Because I'll be here for an hour. We got over. Stop tricking freedom, bro.
Business out there, none of that type of shit. I'm not that type of here to talk down. I don't care. They know what I do. You heard? And they know what I've done. And they could dance around it all they like that joking, but they know upset is going to be a real problem. And I can tell you about times that I did get upset. And I can tell you about times that they don't want me to talk about. You heard? The both of them. You dig? Like, this game, they can't play with me too much. I give them the floor to do that because that serves me no purpose. I got too much shit to do. I'm trying to get to a real bag, a real different type of bag, and I'm trying to help out more.
He slides even lower. Body shaming Mase. Yeah, a grown man in his 40s thinking fat jokes are gonna fix his reputation. That's not street, that's sad. When the bars stop hitting and the truth hits harder, the weak reach for playground insults. At this point, it's not about who's tougher, it's about who still has dignity.
Mase need to go on a diet. He need to get his life together. He need to go to the doctor and get a physical. He looked terrible, bad body, back. Nigga look big around the neck, waist look crazy. I'm body shaming this. You heard? He need to go get on the treadmill, do some push-ups, do something. You heard? Especially for playing with me. Point of anything, I think when people put negative energy in the light, people just run with it. You know? The media, social media is not about anything positive. You know what I mean? It's about going viral, catching people's attention and things like that. You dig? So I try not to feed into that because I know there's a big reality. There's a big difference between the two. You know what I mean? But even though I gotta live in the truth for business-wise and things like that, but for the most part, I try to stay away from all the social media and digital antics.
Jim's behavior doesn't scream gangster, it screams desperation. And when a man loses his code, his truth, and his respect, there's nothing left but noise. The irony is thick enough to choke on. Jim Jones keeps saying he doesn't care about what Camron or Mase say, claiming they're just chasing clout, trying to go viral for clicks. But let's keep it real. Who's been sitting down with every interviewer who'll press record? XXL, Cam Capone, random podcasts, Instagram lives, Jim Jones himself.
You know what I'm saying? Mase and all that going on yet, or are they still coming up?
I'm not gonna sit here and do a discography, my brother. It's a little bit too much for me. And you ain't pay enough for that. So if you got some other questions you want to ask, or you could erase all this, send you your money back. Either or.
Okay, I mean,
I understand what's going on and the plight of everything that's going on, and people want to know the history, but this ain't the way that you're not going to be able to get the whole Jim Jones and Jomo story for that, what you did. I thought this was some regular questions. Seemed like you trying to get everything up to every point, and that's not going to happen right now. So if you want to ask some questions, I'm cool with that, but you definitely can't ask me all these questions you're asking, my brother. So if you got some ask, you better ask and get it off your chest, but I ain't going through this with you because you don't have enough money for that. No disrespect.
The same man accusing others of clout chasing is out here running a full-blown press tour just to keep his name in circulation. That's not power. That's panic disguised as promotion. And here's where it all unravels. When an interviewer tries to dig deeper into the feud, suddenly Jim goes silent. The man who's been barking threats and talking tough can't handle one real question. No receipts, no details, just stuttering and dodging, because when your story's built on fiction, specifics become your worst enemy.
You know, what was your reaction when Camron brought up all these old stories and everything about you?
I laughed, man. I got this thing, man. People laugh at the lies, but the truth always hurt.
you know, lies are more entertaining. You heard? You get to laugh, you get the joke, but the truth is a serious thing, no matter how you look at it. The truth is what the truth is.
Yeah, you know, the internet gets kind of crazy with the lies. The lies be going crazy on the internet.
I mean, well, the lies start from a narrative, and the narrative starts from a person, and you just got to look at it like that. But I've never been one in my life to care about clearing up no rumors. Like, that shit just take time out my day from making money. I know who I am. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I stand 10 toes down on everything I believe in. I don't change my pivot, and everybody knows that.
Every time someone asks for facts, the walls start crumbling. Jim's great at performing confidence as long as he's the one controlling the mic. But the moment someone else asks him to explain, the mask slips. That's what happens when you spend years living a lie. Truth becomes your biggest threat. And then, just when the dust settles, Camron drops the final blow. He doesn't just respond, he delivers a verdict. According to Cam, this whole mess isn't even about loyalty or ego anymore. It's about Jim's toxic pattern of dragging down everyone around him.
What I'll finish with is this, man. I'm never here to downplay your character. As much as you try to degrade my character for years and push me under the bus and say, I ain't start this and I ain't do that, and you started Pink and you made the Diplomats, which is just, if people choose to believe that, then look, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I can sell you to, my period. But at the end of the day, I never try to downplay your character. And I didn't know all this on because I was on vacation. I came back a few days ago and seen all this going on. And it's like, for instance, right? I see you post and let me get jumped in Rucker, this, that, and third by 8 and third. I'll let that story however they want to tell it. I seen the story one time when Little C's was telling the story. I mean, me and Little C's is cool. And Little C's told me he punched me in my face.
Artists who link up with him, Cam says, always end up worse off than before. They lose focus, lose direction, and lose credibility. All while Jim plays victim and points fingers. That's not leadership. That's straight parasite energy. But the real bombshell? Cam reveals that this smear campaign isn't new at all. Jim's been running the same tired playbook for over a decade. The disses, the subliminals, the interviews pretending to set the record straight, and it's all recycled behavior from a man who just can't let go of the past. And you know why? Because the past is the only era where Jim still mattered. Even now, he keeps insisting he's above the rumors and focused on money, but every move screams desperation.
In worse situations than they was before they met you. You get, do you understand that? I don't know if you understand that. That's why I am, but then you send them on dummy missions and trick them out their freedom. Max is doing 75, I know. Well, Jaja just wanted to be a rapper. Jaja got 10 years, my man. We don't know where Jeter at. Stro is just missing. I don't know what the Stro. Slicey, 12 years. His godson, that was 13 years old, 8 years. Shotty, he was trying to be 12 years. And I know you love Mel, because I love Mel Matrix. That's my brother. I love him. That's your man more than my man, and that's a fact. I cannot deny it. But you said when he come home, he's gonna be the triple OG. Get that man a job, man. Get him a job. He's the triple OG before he went in. Make sure he getting a job, getting six digits a year. That's what it's really about. As much as that side, I don't know if me or not, I ain't talking about this situation. You know what's gangster? Emery is gangster.
You don't chase every camera in the city if you're at peace. You do that when you're trying to convince people you still matter. The irony's eating him alive, and the audience sees right through it. What we're witnessing isn't just a feud, it's the psychological collapse of a man trapped in his own legend, fighting to keep a version of himself alive that no longer exists. And there it is, Jim Jones, the man who swears he's all about business and doesn't care about clout, is literally out here doing back-to-back interviews, chasing headlines just to stay relevant. Let's be honest, this isn't just 3 Harlem legends rehashing old memories. This is about authenticity, the lifeblood of hip-hop culture. It's about the thin line between builders and biters, between creators and opportunists, between those who earn their respect and those who try to borrow it.
Emery that had a Puma creative well doing it ain't even like jail back on his plate no time soon, and they ain't never going back. You know what's gangster? Biggs is gangster. Biggs come home for jail, still got a stake in Rockefeller, whatever him and Jay-Z worked out, that's cool. Or whatever he got St. John as artist, he working with Drink Champs. That's gangster. Not throwing back in the pot to eventually do something that could get them back in the same situation. And I'm not saying, man, if you got something lined up for Matrix, I'm shut the my bad. I apologize, but I don't want that for Melly because I get about Melly. Whether he care about me like he used to or not, I still my love for Melly. So hopefully that'll go right. But this is gonna be the last time I address this. I did this 10 years ago. A lot of people seem like this is new business. When Jim wanted to go to Rock Nation, he sat there and was crying on Funk Master Flex.
Jim's story isn't just messy, it's a warning, a reminder that when you build your name on someone else's foundation, eventually the cracks show. For years, Jim hid behind a tough image, rewriting history to make himself look like the mastermind. But now, Camron and Mase have pulled the receipts, rolled the tapes, and exposed every contradiction he ever spoke into existence. They didn't just win a beef, they executed a reality check in real time. They used Jim's own words, his old interviews, his own ego to burn down the myth he created. And once the smoke cleared, all that was left was the truth. A man who built a career on borrowed credibility and ran out of lies to hide behind. So if you're watching this right now, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another deep dive into hip-hop's wildest moments. Drop your thoughts down below. Do you think Jim can ever bounce back from this, or is this the final chapter of the Dipset deception? Either way, keep it real, stay locked in, and I'll see you in the next video, where the next round of celebrity chaos is already waiting for you on that screen.